Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off. Online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, 20 takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and in today's episode, we are joined by a very special guest, Aaron Shields. Aaron most recently played for the Fort Worth Barracudas in the Mountain West Hockey League, along with the Utah Spiders, Vegas Jesters, along with some other teams. Aaron also got the opportunity to serve as a backup in an ECHL game for the Alaska Aces on an EBUG call, emergency backup goalie. So this is going to be an exciting episode. So welcome to the show, Aaron Shields.
What's going on, boys? Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. This is going to be a fun episode. But like to start things off, like how are you? Like we're in these crazy times right now. So what's been happening with you?
Yeah, it's been nuts, man. Hockey kind of got canceled out. I mean, as far as our MW season, we were going, and then COVID hit. They suspended operations indefinitely for the MW. I don't know. I've been out of the loop as far as the league, as far as what's going on. I heard, that they were going to have some games. I think Breckenridge was trying to face some games in Texas, vice versa. San Diego was supposed to have a couple game or two game series in Texas. So as far as the MW goes, I've been out of it. Retirement life's been fun. So I haven't really been chasing it. Just been enjoying life, man. I know COVID's been rough on a lot of people. I've been blessed enough to kind of be able to, so all during COVID last year, 2020, I went to Montana, and I was actually able to coach goalies up there in Whitefish, Montana with a good buddy of mine, Jamie James. He was in the San Jose Sharks organization for a little bit there. I was up there coaching goalies, and that was literally in the midst of the thick, during when COVID was actually, a thing, and when people were shut down and they couldn't do anything. So did that. And then the job that I lost, I got laid off in March of 2020. I got my job back in September, October of last year. It's the daily grind, and then I got a huge promotion January 7th of this year, 2021. So I'm a big boss now. So no more worrying about where my next job is gonna be. It's a pretty secure job, and for the most part, it's been nice. So I've been one of the lucky few, the blessed ones to be able to still find work, and keep going and play hockey whenever and wherever I can. So
Yeah, for sure. So congrats on that promotion. That's awesome. Just like you have a
Yeah, thank you.
stable job now where you're gonna have a job for a while. So that's good. So going into hockey a little bit here, like you said you're in
Mhm.
Montana for a little bit during like all the like main like COVID when that was like a huge thing with like the lockdown and
Yeah.
everything. It's like what was it like coaching goalies and being a coach there?
Man, it was. I mean, like I said, if it's something that I could find a way to do, and it's a steady income, it's a consistent income. I mean, coaching goalies from 8, 9 years old to I had a couple kids. One was like 16, 17. One was 18, 19 from Europe. And now like that huge age span of a 10-year, 12-year difference, you can see like the kids, like they could just, every age group has their own like their own interests, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they take huge pride in what they do. And to be able to like coach that and see that and be able to mentor that a little bit and drive their a lot of energy that they have, drive that energy in a good way, in good areas of their game, whether it's on the ice or off the ice. I think that was just even better. So to see the kids grow, and I mean, even the players that aren't goalies, right? To see them grow, get better, get skillfully better, mature off the ice. That was a huge blessing in itself. So, but like I said, if I could find a way to be able to do that full time, I would absolutely, hands down, give that up for a 9 to 5 job that I'm doing now. So,
Yeah. So like what's been like the hardest part about like goalie coaching and then like the most fun part about goalie coaching?
I'll start with the hardest. So, I mean, for me, the hardest is applying what you teach and making sure that the kid doesn't lose sight of what they're being taught. If that makes sense. I
Yeah.
mean, there's always one day there's the kid, depending on who they are in an age group, they'll learn something, they'll get it, they'll stick it, they'll dominate it, they'll master whatever is being taught, and then the next day I want them to do the same thing, and then they just
Go
don't even
back to
know
their old habits.
go back to their old habits. They forget what they're doing. They don't focus. They're not, buckling down. And I think that was the most frustrating part. But the most successful part about it was, them coming up to me after a 2-week camp and saying, Coach Shields, like, hey, like, thanks for, making me better. Thank you for, showing me that I can do it. And thanks for, helping me, get to that next level kind of thing. And so that was more like the beneficiary or the beneficial part of it. And then having like their parents come up to me and like saying, hey, like, the kid doesn't talk about you. And when we get off the ice, he talks about you dinner, talks about you when we're at home, talks about you, before we go to bed. So like, it's cool stuff like that, that kind of just like, it goes deeper than the game, because I'm helping teach these kids something that, whether it's has to do with their game or has to do with life, they can take it, wherever they want to. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
And like all like the small details and everything and that goes into goaltending is insane. And just how like how like the parents come up to you after and like it's small things that
Yeah.
really bring it and like really
Yeah.
it's awesome when you hear that, and it's a lot more than just a game like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's just I mean, it's when it comes to coaching, and I mean, it means the world when the kids, like, they actually trust in what we're doing, what we're teaching them. And yeah, like to see that carry on off the ice. Yeah, it's even better. So
Yeah, so like how cool was it being in Whitefish, Montana? Like that place is sick. So like it's like
yeah,
what was it like being there?
dude, it was, I can tell you right now, it was one hell of experience. It was, So I stayed with Jamie and his wife Joy in Columbia Falls, and so from Columbia, it's like literally like a 10-15 minute drive every morning. We take the boys to the rink. Would hang out in the morning. Sometimes I would have, no kids, and JJ would take the kids all to the rink, and then I would stop, get a coffee in Whitefish. I mean, the drive, it seemed like forever to get to the rink, but really it was only like I said, 12-15 minutes. But yeah, getting a coffee, enjoying the drive. The mornings were so brisk. Good, clean, just crisp mountain air. Like it was awesome. And then, as the day went on, it got a little warmer, it got a little hotter. But to be able to do, like, we also did dry land every single day. So we were outside, being able to get the kids out, get them off the ice and get them to also to do, work ethic kind of stuff and teach them how to interact with each other like a team would, but only off the ice, and, give them things to challenge themselves to basically just figuring out problems on their own, you know what I mean? And so that was pretty cool as well. But yeah, the visit in Whitefish and literally living in Montana or Whitefish, Montana for a pretty good amount of time last summer was definitely what the body needed, for sure.
Yeah, not a bad place to be in. Just
not at all.
Coach, just chill, just be around the mountains and everything. It must have been unreal.
Oh yeah, it was one of the best experiences, probably hands down, I've had with hockey in general. So very a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's unreal. So throughout your coaching, in Whitefish, what was one of the main things that you found yourself preaching on, with the kids, whether it be technical stuff, off ice stuff, what would you be preaching about?
I preached to them a lot about carrying yourself in a very mature, appropriate way. So whenever we went out to dinner or we're in public, they all have NA prep, merch on, hoodies, hats, sweaters, whatever it was, shirts. So I'm like, when you guys remember, whether you have something NA prep on or not, you represent yourself in a mature manner to where hockey players are professionals. We have a job. Yes, we can have a good time, but at the same time, that outside the rink and off the ice, you basically you represent a lot of people. You represent your parents, you represent your academy where you came from, you represent your hockey team that you play for, you represent yourself, right? And so that's one thing that I tried to help with the older kids, especially, is that you represent a lot of people that stand behind you and that support you. So don't go in public acting like a clown, because then people won't take it serious, and then they'll look at you as a clown. So that's one thing I definitely kind of implemented and wanted those young adult players to remember and focus on. They want to go to the next level. Totally understandable, but it's also not about your skill set, and it's not about what you do on the ice. It's about what you do off the ice, and it's about the way you carry yourself and the way your demeanor and your maturity. So I think that was a huge deal as well. So
yeah, that's unreal. That's awesome. There's eyes everywhere, and you don't know who's watching. So you gotta take care of yourself. Act professional, don't goof around in public, and there's of course times to have fun, but when you're outside in public, that the most important thing is just having that professionalism, which I love what you just said there, and it's just
goofing off.
You couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, goofing off is one thing. It's, you can always have fun, have a good time, but not acting like a complete idiot. So if that makes sense. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So going into your hockey career a little bit here, can you give our viewers a little background information on your hockey career, when you started playing hockey, what made you become a goaltender, your hockey journey?
Yeah, so I'll definitely try to make it as short as possible. So I started when I was like 7, 8 years old. First year roller hockey. I didn't know, if I wanted to be a forward or a D-man or a goalie. My dad was like, "Hey, let's try it out." We already had like all the player equipment, so did player, enjoyed it. I liked it. Wasn't, I didn't mind it, but bought my dad bought me a pair of iTech roller hockey pads, and I put them on, tried it, and I think it was like the time that I spent being a goalie, I was like 3 games in. I think I had like a couple wins out of 3 games. I thought it was sick. I thought it was like the hottest shit, 8 years old, but I was like, dude, like I kind of dig this. Like I kind of want to play like, a goalie. And my dad's like, "Oh, you don't got what it takes. You don't got shit." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck you." Like, I'm just like, "Yeah, watch me," like, so, yeah, after roller, we signed up for ice hockey at 9 years old. And, I played in Lafayette. I started there as a goalie, bought a sweet set of some Brian's pads. And, after that, it kind of took off. It went from, junior high to high school hockey. And then high school hockey, after I graduated, I quit. I basically, like, I didn't do juniors. I didn't do D1, D2, D3, college hockey. I don't know. I think I was gassed. I was over it. I was putting in a lot of time, a lot of effort. My mom and dad supported me a lot throughout the journey, and spent a lot of money and hockey camps, going to Minnesota for hockey camps. Hockey camps here in Arvada, here locally in Colorado. And I didn't get really like much of like a boost from it, morale boost, I guess. So quit, and then came back at 23. We had a local team here in Colorado called the Pikes Peak Vigilantes. They're like, at the time it was the Senior A, Senior A Super Men's League. Like, they were trying to, go big with it. Obviously they did. They're one of the semi-pro teams now in the MWHL. Started off in the end of 2013. Bryce and Danny, they were our captain, GM, and coach. They kind of shared roles, and so they gave me a chance. And then it was fun, man. I had my tendy partners. I had Ben Haas. Hossers was on that team with me, and Bob Will was on that team. That was a lot of fun. We had three tendies, including myself. That was a blast. And then ever since then, it kind of took off. 2014 was Utah. 2015, I didn't really have like a full ride or like a full expectation. I think it was with Utah for a little bit, and then I kind of helped out a few teams here and there. And then I played with, Dale Yeti for, I came out and I was a backup for the NorCal Ice Raiders a little bit. And then 2017 comes, and then a good buddy of mine, Tate, basically helped me get on the bench for the Aces as an EBUG. So that was one hell of an experience. 2018, not much. I was a starting goalie for Boulder a couple times. Boulder Bison, they're in the MWHL. And then played for Fort Worth Barracudas, and then that was it. So from 2013 to 2020, I basically chased the journey. I chased, the dream, and throughout all the states and cities that I've been to, and travels and people that I met, such a blast. I couldn't trade that for the world. And all the sweet helmet I've been collecting, all the new paint jobs. So can't forget about that one too. So.
Oh yeah, the paint jobs are the best. When you get on a new team, new paint, everything.
Yeah, makes you horny every single time you get a new lid. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like, that's awesome, and just like everything you went through. Did you ever, like, when you were younger, did you ever think you would like experience all these things in hockey, especially like time you quit after high school? Like, did you ever think that when you came back, like the journey would be like that?
I didn't. I honestly, like, I mean, my expectation going into it wasn't high by all means. I thought it was going to be 1 year, have a good time, have fun with it, be done. And then, like, there was interest of, other teams out there in the MW, that eventually, some of them became partnerships, some became friendships, some became good teammates. I've had a lot of great teammates in my day. I mean, it's been, you know, times where, I've had, fights and scuffs with teammates. And then, at the end of the day, we come back to it and we're fucking even better. We're even tighter. And yeah, it's just that I would have never expected in the 7 years of the career that I kind of made for myself, because nobody did it for me. Nobody, I think I had a lot of people say, you can't do it or you can't make it. Then I did have people saying, keep going and keep pushing. I mean, I mean, whether you're successful or not, whether you believe in yourself or not, I think that's just it's a testament to just my work ethic, how bad I wanted it. And there's been other goalies where they've fought me out of a starting position straight up because they're way better than I am. They're taller, they're more athletic, and that's okay. Right. But the minute you don't show up, or the minute, you don't expect better from yourself, is the day that you should just probably hang them up. So, but yeah, man, throughout the 7 years, it's been a blast. It's been so much fun. It's the expectation definitely exceeded the reality that I had with the journey. And to be an ECHL player for a weekend, that was even more of a special privilege. So
Yeah, so throughout like your career, you faced many ups and downs, and what keeps you motivated, especially like on those downhill trends when people are doubting you, and they're just talking. Like, what do you do to overcome them, and just say like, screw it, like you guys aren't going to do anything, and this is my journey.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't know that there's a lot of different ways to approach the situation. There's a lot of different ways to accept failure. The way I accept it and the way I coach it, it's more like, kind of like a fuck you, like, who the fuck are you kind of thing. And it's like, I actually do it to prove, I do it to prove to myself that I can do it. You know what I mean? I hear like the bullshit and all that, sometimes from players and coaches and GMs and owners. And I just kind of like, I'm like, damn, man, like I know I'm better than you, and I know I'm better than what I expect for myself. So I think it's just a drive. It's a work ethic. I mean, there's a lot of goalies out there like me that have that mentality. But at the same time, there's a lot of goalies that are not like me that don't give up. Like, they just keep grinding, they keep going. They make it happen, and they don't let excuses, fall in the way of their ultimate goal. So
yeah, absolutely. And just like, you got to embrace the grind. Like, nothing's going to be easy. Like, it's going to be a grind no matter what. And just, especially when you work up to those higher levels teams and all that, and higher level competition, like, nothing's easy. Like, nothing's granted. Like, you just got to work your ass off, just keep working, keep grinding. Like, that's where, like, you got to have the love of the grind. You got to love the grind, and it helps you succeed because you want it, and you can get it. You just got to work.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's like, if you don't embrace the grind, and if you don't want to, put your nose to the stone and make your dreams a reality, then unfortunately being a goalie is not cut out for that person. So it's and people don't really understand, like, hockey is its own world. But like, being a hockey player and being a goalie, there's a lot of things that like go into the game, and this is we're not even talking about, game plans, different ways of carrying yourself through a game. This is like a mental challenge. It's a mental game. It's a physical athletic kind of game. I mean, there's a lot of different attributes that a person needs to develop to even become, not even a hockey player, but just a solid player, even if it's being a solid individual or being a solid goalie. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different keys of what needs to be the basis of performing. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said before with the kids that I coached, whether you're on the ice or off the ice, they're just there's that mojo that carries that person. And I think kids will find themselves, they'll find out who they really are and what they're about. And once they do, then I mean, hopefully they can figure it out on their own, whether it's being a goalie or being a hockey player or playing baseball or whatever. So
yeah, 100% agree with you there. And just like you brought up a good point with like mindset, like that's super important as a goaltender. So like, how do you go about having a good mindset, especially when you're like having shitty games, like you're giving up bad goals, bad rebounds? Like, how do you bounce back from that and like continue to have that good mindset? Because as you know, like if you don't have a good mindset, goals are going to end up in the back of your net.
Right. The way I looked at it, especially in a shitty game, down 7-1, 7-2, the only thing that you can stop or that you can't stop is yourself. So yeah, you let in some shit goals. Yeah, but if you tell yourself, you can't do it, you can't finish the game, you can't get out of the period, well then you're just setting yourself up.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself. I've done that so many fucking times. I think I've done that maybe over 2 handfuls of times, maybe actually like 24 times, where I'm in the middle of a second period. I'm like, fuck, you can't do this. Fuck, you can't. You're not going to get out of this period. You're down 8-3, 4. You ain't going to make it. And once you're there, and this is like when I first started playing, like 2013, 14. Once you're there's no coming back. I mean, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're, D1, hottest goalie in the fucking league. I don't care if you're the hottest goal in the East, in ACHA, hottest goal in the ECHL. I mean, I don't care if you're putting up 4 shutouts, 9 games in the SPHL. With that mindset, you're not gonna go enter. And I found that out very quick. And I mean, if you're at that point, you're not going to stop you're not going to stop your mindset. You're not going to stop anything. Right.
Yeah.
So I think I worked on that during 2014 summer into the 2015 season, which was my mental battles, just letting it go by, let it go. Right. Just something, because we all know like letting in soft goals is like the hardest thing to accept. Right. But that was my challenge for going into 2015, was creating a mental shield to where I'm just like, I'm phasing out all the bullshit. I don't care what goes past me. Good goal, great. Bad goal, sure, whatever. I'm going to phase it out. And I think 2015, 16, one of my best years. Best ever. 17, 18, pretty decent. 18, 19, I kind of tapered off on myself. I kind of just like, I didn't like dive, but I plateaued. And then 2020, I thought it was going to be 2019, 20, I thought it was going to be a great year. I worked hard. I did a lot of off ice training. I think I cut like 10 pounds that summer too. So I was feeling good. We took a trip to Europe before I started the season with the Barracudas. Came back, I was energized, ready to go. And then COVID. So
going back to like the mindset thing, like I had the same problem like last year. Like once you start thinking about stuff, like there's games where it'd be like 6-0, 7-0, 8-0, like one, and then like the next game I'd be like have that 6-0 in the back of my mind, or like 6 goals given up. And then you know what happens after that. You give up 6 goals, and then you're like, and then you start like not believing in yourself. But then like this year, like I focused on having that good mindset and like just refocusing after giving up a goal and just saying to stop the next shot, because that's what you got to do is just stop the next shot, and just doesn't matter how the last puck went in. You have one job, and that's to stop the next shot.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think sometimes you got to let go of, you got to let go, especially like the weak, sorry shit. The soft goals that you just know that you could have stopped. I can speak for myself, but those are the goals that, like, a good goal, I know, like, okay, like that's pretty fucking legit, whatever.
Yeah.
But soft ones, dude, that was my weakness the first couple years. And like I said, built myself up. And like I said, you got to have like I don't know if it's just me or if there's other goalies out there, which, I'm pretty sure there are, but you just got to have, you got to have a want, right? You got to have a why, right? So this goes for hockey, non-hockey. Like when you wake up, what's your why? What do you do that keeps you going, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that was my why, is don't do it again. Like, don't let it fucking happen. Like, that was my why. So I was like, that's what I worked on. And down the road, as I got older and matured, that definitely carried into my mindset. So
yeah, that's just great right there. And just going on to 2017, when you got your EBUG calls, like you were the emergency backup goalie for the Alaska Aces in 2017. It's like, what went on leading up to getting that call up, then like warm-ups, being on the bench for the game, and then like after the game as well? Like what, like give us everything, like everything that went down with that.
It was dude, it was a fucking dream. It was awesome. So it was like that Thursday, I believe. So it was like, that Thursday, my buddy Tate calls me and he's like, hey man. And so my buddy Tate Maris, he played for the Eagles organization when they were in the ECHL. He's like, hey, I don't know what you're up to this weekend. Do you have any plans? Anything going on? I'm like, no, not really. Just hanging out at home, and I'm just gonna probably, be hanging out and just, chilling. And it's like, well, I need you Sunday afternoon. And I'm like, what's going on? And it's like, well, I can't make it. Nobody else that I know can make it. So I'm giving you a call. He's like, do you want to be an EBUG for the Alaska Aces when they come in town and play the Eagles? I'm like sitting there, dude. I'm like, you're fucking, like, you're kidding me, right? Like, I thought it was some kind of sick joke, right? I'm just like, there's no way. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And I'm like, holy shit. So that Sunday, I think I had like something family going on, or some family function or something. And so I'm like, can I give you an answer in about a half hour? He's like, sure. He's like, half hour, I'll call you back around 1:30. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm so when I got his phone call, I was sitting at a Jiffy Lube getting an oil change on my piece of shit Jetta. It's a fucking 2001 Volkswagen Jetta that I bought for my buddy. And I called my dad. I was like, hey, what about the family fun that we had going on this weekend? And he's like, oh, that was next weekend. I'm like, oh, well, looks like I'm gonna go be an EBUG for the Alaska Aces when they play the Eagles. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, buddy of mine wants you to go fill in to be an EBUG for the Aces in the ECHL. And he's like, no fucking way. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, this is. So I called Tate back. Long story short, Coach Murray at the time was the coach for the Aces. Now he's coaching Tulsa Oilers. And I had Coach Murray give me a call, and it's like, hey, Coach Murray, here's this Aaron Shields. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, hey, man, so we're going to be driving into Denver. So I guess they had like a triple header or something like that. So they're going to drive back from Rapid City Saturday night after the game into Denver Sunday morning, early morning. And the game Sunday afternoon was at like 3:00, I think. So he's like, hey, we're not going to have a morning skate. Just want to let you know. But he's like, I need you to be at the rink around 11:30, 12 o'clock. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So he's like, thanks for filling in. And he's like, we'll see you at the rink. I'm like, all right, cool. So, there it was, dude. I packed my bag. Dude's all Saturday night. Like I knew like I wasn't going to play. I wasn't going to, see any like actual game
Starting
time,
goalie is going to take a bullet and just play
dude,
through it.
Dude, so I fucking was thinking, I'm like, but then I'm like, shit, dude, like, what if he does? What if the starting goalie goes out? What if he gets a fucking broken collarbone or like he takes one straight to the fucking throat or something? And I'm like, fuck. So like, I didn't go to bed till Sunday morning around 5. I get up at like Sunday morning around 10. The drive is just straight up I-25 north to Loveland to the BEC Center. There I am, dude, just driving up. I got my gear bag in the back of my Jetta. The biggest pile of shit that's sitting on the highway. I'm living the dream. I got a big ass smile on my face. Like people are like looking at me like, why is this dude smiling? He's like driving the biggest pile of shit on the highway. Like, so yeah, I get to the rink, check in with the security in the back, and I get my gear going, and I met their equipment manager, and he started getting me going. He said, just leave my gear in the hallway. And so they had like one locker room was, where you get ready. One was the dry room. You leave your dress clothes and all your stuff. You're just in the dry room. And then they gave me a team hat, and I already had some shorts and a long sleeve and getting ready to get warmed up. And, yeah, he's like, go get undressed, go get ready, go stretch out with the boys, and go take some laps if you need to do. Just go get ready for the game. So I'm like, all right. So went up to the concourse, went up to the like the little upper deck area there, and I did some stairs. I took a couple laps around the main course of the building. I met some of the guys on the team. I met the captain. What's his name? Hunt. They called him Huntsy. I forgot his first name. Hunt was the captain of the team at the time. And then I met their starting goalie, Carzy, Kevin Carr. We're actually good buddies now. It's unreal what that experience did. So Carzy's just unreal, dude. He's in California right now. He's with the Colorado Eagles. He got a contract signed with Utah Grizzlies, and now he's in the Colorado Eagles organization as well. So anyways, going back to the EBUG, so I got warmed up and I walked in, and my gear is all laid out, and skates are all nice and sharp. They gave me a brand new pair of laces. Carzy's gear is right next to mine. He's in the next stall sitting next to me. And then there it was, the infamous Alaska Eagles jersey with my last name and my number. So that was, dude, that was unreal. I actually think I shed a couple tears on that one. Like that was a good time. So yeah, I got ready, got dressed, kind of went in because they want all the boys in the locker room for like a little team meeting for pregame warmups, and talked a little bit and saw a few shots and warm-ups. It was pretty fun, and had a couple sick saves. So, whatever. I kind of tooted my own horn a little bit, but
we always got to toot the horn.
Oh, dude, it was great. And then, giving the boys some high fives before we go out for, pregame or pregame orientation, where the Eagles get their names all announced and stuff. And then we came out and then just being on the bench, man. You just got the infamous towel going on in the collar, and you got the last name on the back. And my parents were able to see that. My dad got a couple pictures of me during pregame warmups. My mom took a couple when I was sitting on the bench, and Alaska Aces hat on. I mean, the whole experience. We lost that game in overtime 3-2, but dude, that game was. I mean, it was one of the best hockey memories that I think I can definitely take with me when I die. So that was so much fun.
Yeah, that's unreal. And just right time at the right place, or right place at the right time. And you're right there. And then you get into the action with like warm-ups and everything, like just being with the boys. And in a professional locker room, and that's insane. It must have been. That's definitely gonna be a memory for a lifetime for sure.
It was unreal because it was funny because at the time I was actually like I was on and off talking to Sean Zimmerman, and he was the captain of the Eagles at the time. And I was like, damn, I won't be able to chirp you during the game today. And he's like, yeah, I know. And during that game, he was actually out. He was out with the LBI or something like that. So he was watching the game from the press box with the rest of the guys that were out. But yeah, man, just like chirping like Zahn and chirping, just so some of the other guys on the team that I as a fan would go watch. That was unreal. I mean, it was definitely a surreal moment for sure.
Yeah, that's just awesome. Did your phone blow up after the game?
It kind of like I did like a little announcement on Instagram about it. And like some not my friends, but like some of my acquaintances that like I was in with hockey were like, it's bullshit. Like you probably just got called last minute. It's not gonna happen. Yeah, like there's a lot of people. There's a photographer that worked for Colorado Eagles, and they had at the time they had a few pictures of me because at the time a good buddy of mine, Butch Misso, passed away, so he was the referee that was painted on my helmet. So she actually took some pictures of my helmet and pregame warmups, and she put it on her photography website on Facebook. And then after that, and then after some of the fans and people were at the game. I mean, it was a sold out game. Like there was so many people. So then after pre-COVID times, so after the game, my phone definitely blew up. I had probably about 20, 30 text messages, probably about 15, 20 missed calls. But yeah, they kind of recognized that, it was a real thing. And, I think that's where like the peak of my performance and the peak of my like hard work kind of was able to like shine, just because, I made it to an ECHL game. Yeah. I was just EBUG. Yeah. I wasn't able to play, get some ECHL minutes, but throughout the grind of the 4 years that I put in and the hard work that I put in, and chasing the dream, spending my own money on airplane tickets, spending my own money on hotel bills, spending my own money on food, spending my own money on metal, hardware, laces, gear, tape. I mean, everything. It finally paid off to where I was actually able to sit on the bench. I got a paycheck out of it, and I still have my Las Cases jersey. So
that's sick. That's unreal. Just the experience too, and like you play for the experiences and the love of the game. Like that's an experience that's just awesome. So like, what did you learn?
Yeah.
Like you obviously had to learn something from the experience. Like what did you learn about like watching the coast guys play and just being out in warm-ups? Like what were some of the things that you learned from there?
I learned they grind. They have no stop. So that's why, like, when COVID hit and those ECHL guys weren't getting a paycheck, they weren't getting paid, they weren't getting anything. So that's why when Spent Chugget's put together that ECHL player relief fund, those guys are like they're like the grit, they're the sandpaper, you know what I mean? Like those are the guys that still want to make it to the show, they still want to grind, they still want to make it to the AHL. They still love the game, you know what I mean? And so I was like, I had my heart poured out for those guys, especially the ones, that, a buddy of mine, Tyler Polson, he got traded from Rapid City to Wheeling, like literally right before COVID hit. And so like I felt for him because he's like, he's a good solid player. He's a goal scorer. He's a small player. He's like a Todd St. Louis, or he's like a St. Louis from Tampa Bay. But like the dude can score goals. He can fucking play make. He sees the ice just as good as anybody else. So when the ECHL shut down like that, I definitely, that's one thing that I can take away is that those ECHL guys they're fucking grinders. They have no stop. So.
Yeah, for sure. And just like, it's a grind. Like some of the stories that I've heard from the coast, like in the like minor leagues, it's a grind, like with all the travel and everything, and just that you got to work you can't have an off day because those contracts are pretty much daily. Yeah. And if you're not performing, you're not going to stay. So it's good that and like they're playing now. So that's good.
Yeah, no, exactly. And those AHL guys, I mean, those AHL teams, those managers, those GMs, those coaches, I mean, they look to add to, progress their team. And so those ECHL guys, they've got to be ready. They got to be, they got to be polished as much as they can get polished. And they know that there's still an opportunity. So.
Yeah, for sure. So like going on to your time in the Mountain West Hockey League. So it's a senior A hockey league. You played on different teams, like we said earlier, like the Jesters, the Ice Raiders, the Barracuda, like among other teams. Like, take us through like those years in the MWHL and like your experiences with those teams that you played for, and overall, like how much fun did you have playing in the MW?
Shit, man. I mean, looking back on it now, I mean, fun. Scale 1 to 10, probably like a 2. No, I'm just kidding. I did a shit ton of fun. I think I had more fun playing the last 3 years that I was in the league, just because like I had it figured out. I knew a lot of the guys from different teams. I just knew not really what to expect, but I knew that like every game was gonna be a fucking fight. Like it was more of like in the MW, it's more of a like, what do you have to fucking prove to me? You know what I mean? Like what can I do to prove to everyone else? It was like a proving game, right? So like I still felt like I could prove that I can win games. I can shut down dudes, I can still have a decent GAA with a fucking decent save percentage. And then, as you get older, 28, 29, I mean, there's some guys that were in the league that were 34, 35 years old, you know what I mean? And so, and even I think there's a couple from Vegas that are like 40 almost. So, like to them, like they had that, I'm going to prove you wrong kind of fucking mentality. Like I'm going to put you down in the ground and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there, And so, but no, back to your question. I mean, I had a lot of fun. The last 3 years is a blast. The journey, the adventures. I think I did a lot more flying than I did the first 2-3 years. But yeah, it was I think there's a lot of downs because there's so many, like, just like you like walk into a game and you're on the road and you got 14 guys. That's like one of the bigger downs. Like, fuck, like we just road tripped. We just drove out to a game. We have 14 guys. We're going to get buried. Like we're going to get fucking pummeled. And it actually happened to where there's been a couple games out of the, like a handful of games where our 14 guys, we actually almost fucking won the game. So it was actually a lot closer than what we expected. But yeah, no, I mean, throughout the whole journey, I think the good times were a lot of fun. There's a lot of highs, but there's even more lows. But I mean, the highs I'll definitely take away and remember, like if my kids ever wanted to chase something in their life, they just know that they have to work hard for it. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Your work ethic basically shows who you are. And that's one thing that I'll always carry with me is my work ethic. Nobody else can fucking be better than I could in my prime in that position where I knew it was either me or somebody else. And I always wanted it more than that other person did. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I fucking love that. So like, what were some of your favorite moments from playing the MWHL and just some of the stories that you probably had over that stretch of time?
Oh man, there's been a lot. I can tell you right now the times that I've played in the mountains here in Colorado, Ridge, against Breckenridge. I've played for Vail. I've played against Vail. Dude, I can tell you right now, like if there's any team that comes from like California or Arizona or Texas, dude, like altitude is a fucking thing. Like it will kick your ass before you even get on the ice. Like people don't really understand. Like I think I was playing for Boulder Bison. A buddy of mine hit me up last minute, like 8 or 9 hours before game time on a Friday. And he was like, hey, you want to play for Boulder this weekend? We're going to be playing Vail Yeti. And I'm like, sick, whatever, let's do it. And it was funny because I was actually supposed to be the backup goalie for the NorCal Ice Raiders in Breckenridge because they had the 2-game series out there. So I called the GM or I called the GM of NorCal Ice Raiders Friday night. I'm like, hey, buddy, I'm not going to be the backup goalie tonight in Breckenridge for you guys. I'm going to go be a starting goalie for Boulder against Vail. And he said, cool, no big deal. It's like, we can use you tomorrow, back up, or we might have you start, whatever. I'm like, awesome. I'll see you Saturday. So we drove past Breckenridge to Vail. And instead of being on the bench back up Friday night, I was the starting goalie Friday night against Vail. So first period, shutout. Second period, shutout. We're winning the second period, mid second period, about 8 minutes left in the second period. I let in the first goal. I think I was playing with Boulder Bison. We were up 5-2 after the second period against Vail Yeti. And my nerves could not fucking stop. I was just like freaking the fuck. And like, I like caught myself in the third period, not breathing. Like I would be wrapped up in a power play, or I'd be wrapped up in a 3-on-2 or whatever. And I hold my breath. I'm like, fuck, dude, this is not happening right now. We lost that game 7-6 in like the last minute and 5 seconds in the third period. And I can tell you right now, I did not stop beating myself up because I know the mountains are a real thing. 2, Vail Yeti is a real thing. They're a solid fucking team. They've always been good. I've always enjoyed my time with them and against them. And 3, if people think that you can go up to the mountains after not working out or not getting like a good condition running and play, you're out of your fucking mind because your lungs will start burning. And when they start burning, they will not stop. And that's what happened to me. I quit breathing, my lungs started burning, and then that's what wrecked my fucking game. Is brutal.
Wow, that's a crazy story. And like just like that the altitude, like that definitely is a thing. I've definitely heard that from everyone. Like you go up there, like you have to get used to it. Like you just can't go and just play a game, like run, like do anything. You have to do something to help yourself get situated to the altitude.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works, and just everything that like you wouldn't expect that, but it's a huge factor in the game.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You definitely need your lungs, that's for sure. It helps you make smart decisions, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a few more questions for you. So do you have any tips for goaltenders looking to get to that next level, whether it be any level, like the younger kids going up a level, like AA to AAA, high school to college, senior league, men's league, like whatever?
Yeah. Off season, stay sharp, stay focused. Don't fall into bad habits. Fall into bad habits will definitely not only hurt you mentally, but physically. Keep yourself, card games. I mean, card games definitely helped us on road trips a lot. Just, helped us think, helped us, stay aware. Like I said, don't fall into bad habits. Try to eat as healthy as you can. I know it's so hard. I mean, there's so many good foods, especially fast food now that I'm not tip-top shape. I mean, I've fallen into we got In-N-Out here in Colorado now. So I've had a couple stops at In-N-Out. So my fat ass is just catching some LBs right now. But yeah, just like eat healthy. I mean, hummus and chips or hummus and crackers is good. A lot of water. Hydration is key. The brain needs water. The body needs water. If you're on any kind of supplements, always make sure that you're doing your supplementary intake daily, if not weekly. If you're on a supplement intake during the season and then you hop off of it on the off season, that's going to hurt yourself a little bit. But yeah, just stay sharp, stay focused is probably the one best thing that I can recommend, because once you get back on the ice, your game will come back to you, and then you can always progress your game as much as you need. So
yeah, that's a great tip there. So my next question is, how important is it to be a student of the game? Like you could to continue to learn like every day, like you could watch YouTube videos, watch NHL games, AHL games, like any game. So like how important is being a student of the game and just learning from the other guys?
It's 12 out of 10. It's very important. I mean, it's something that I myself, I mean, I would nonstop watch YouTube videos of, Vasilevsky, Varlamov, Evgeny Nabokov. I mean, all in any Russian goalie I liked watching, because they had a self-discipline in the crease, and they had a self-discipline when it came to their body movement and their angle positioning. And yeah, I mean, like that's like any Russian goalie I looked up to and I wanted to be like, because I'm the type of goalie, I don't like a lot of movement. I like where it's firm, you're in position, you're playing your angle correct. You're stepping out of the crease, in a manner of what's acceptable, not acceptable as far as where the puck lays on the ice. But yeah, I mean, YouTube videos of any Russian goalie. And then I did watch a lot of AHL games. I didn't even watch NHL games. Like because of my work schedule and all that, I already had AHL live on my phone at the time. So I spent $110 on AHL TV, but I got to watch them. So yeah, I watched a lot of games and just a lot of good tutorials as well. So that helped me out too.
Yeah, you got to keep everything simple. Like game becomes so much easier when everything's simple and you're not scrambling all over the place.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So my final question for you is, what's your favorite pump up song? Like you want to get a pump in workout game, like whatever, like what song you going to?
Fuck. So post games, pre-games, I'm a country artist guy. I do a lot of Cody Johnson, do a lot of Aaron Watson, do some Chris Young, do some John Langston as well. Pump up songs, it's anything. So I think my biggest one at the time was Skrillex and Rick Ross, Lamborghini. So that one was that was my heater for sure. I'd play that jam nonstop. And then I think on the ice, so when I played when we were in NorCal, they played Sicko Mode by Travis Scott a couple times. And that was my on ice. That was my jam, dude. I remember so many good memories of just like, I'm just getting a good pregame, atmosphere, mental battle going. I got like a pregame, just like I was so focused from that song. Just like I wasn't even rattled. I was just like ready to go, But yeah, that's those two songs for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those are great songs to get pumped up to. So Aaron, this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate your time and appreciate you coming on the show. This was a lot of fun. Like, I want to wish you the best of luck in retirement life and everything to it. So thank you so much for coming on.
Jack, it's been a pleasure, my man. Thanks for the pod. It's been fun as well. And I never knew I'd be on so many podcasts even after fucking done playing competitive hockey. So
oh yeah, podcasts are always fun. Yeah.